About a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us on a Wednesday night where we heard from General Manager James Gladstone earlier today. We'll play you some of those comments. It's a Wednesday night that finds us one night away from a pretty big evening of college football. Tomorrow night, a lot of good games. Friday, there's a lot of good games. Then, of course, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday. It is going to be awesome over this 5-day period for Labor Day weekend as college football kicks off. So we'll certainly spend some time on college football tonight. We'll spend some time on the Jacksonville Jaguars tonight. They're back down at practice tomorrow at the Miller Electric Center. I'll be down there, scheduled to go one-on-one with Jonah Monheim, the 7th rounder out of USC, who made this roster comfortably. As a matter of fact, you could say probably the trade of Luke Fortner was due in large part to how the Jaguars felt about Jonah Monheim. So we will certainly spend some time with Jonah tomorrow. Looking forward to talking with him and looking forward to being down there in what is probably going to feel like a regular season practice, because for all intents and purposes, it is, right? I would imagine now 53-man roster, practice squad. It's all about the Carolina Panthers. Sunday, September 7th, we are a week and a half away from the regular season opener, so we will certainly talk Jaguars with you tonight. Brand new Jaguar, Tim Patrick from Detroit. We will go up to the Motor City. My guy up with Detroit is Benjamin Rabin of MLive.com. He's also the host of the Dungeon of Doom Detroit Lions podcast. And we will get his thoughts on what the Jaguars are getting with 31-year-old wide receiver Tim Patrick. Interestingly enough, Daniel Thomas and Tyler Lacy are both headed to Detroit. The Lions signed Daniel Thomas this morning. They claimed Tyler Lacy off of waivers. So two Jaguars, former Jaguars, heading to Detroit. Tim Patrick heading to Jacksonville. In fact, quite a few Jaguars got claimed. Lacy to Detroit. Chad Muma stays in the division, got claimed by the Indianapolis Colts, and Jordan Jefferson is heading to the West Coast to the San Francisco 49ers. So it goes to show you, at least the opinion around the league, is the Jaguars cut some pretty good football players because 4 of them got picked up pretty quick. Daniel Thomas, Chad Muma, Tyler Lacy, and Jordan Jefferson. But we'll talk Jaguars with Jamal St. Cyr as well of Channel 4. That comes up in less than 20 minutes. And every year before the regular season in college football begins, I always like to have my guys in Florida and Florida State, respectfully, the play-by-play guys on the Seminole and Gator radio networks, and we will do that tonight. Sean Kelly, the radio voice of the Florida Gators. You will hear him all season long on the play-by-play of Gator football on 1010XL. Sean will join me coming up here in about 35 minutes or so to give his thoughts on Florida entering 2025. Likewise, we will go to Tallahassee towards the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Jeff Culhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles on the Seminole Radio Network. We will get to his thoughts on Florida State and, of course, a big one this Saturday as they take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. So we are absolutely loaded. We're with it till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we're happy you're spending part of your Wednesday evening with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, I was listening to James Gladstone talk earlier today, and I thought it was interesting. Denmark, let's begin with cut 9 from earlier today, and this will kind of give us a lay of the land. He's talking about veterans that the Jaguars brought in. And, you know, we talk about the youth movement here in Jacksonville from the GM, the head coach, right? 34-year-old James Gladstone, 39-year-old Liam Cohen. And it's still a relatively young team. But if you look at it, all right, here's a prime example. Look at your tight end room. Brenton Strange is in year 3. Hunter Long is in year 5. Johnny Munt is in year number 8. I wouldn't exactly call that young. Look at your offensive line room. Walker Little, year 5. Ezra Cleveland, year 6. Robert Hainsey, year 5. Patrick McCarry, year 7. Anton Harrison, year 3. And then you go to Chuma Edoga, year 7. Cole Van Lannon, year 5. And it's even more prevalent on the defense, right? Dewan Smoot, year 9. Emmanuel Agba, year 10. Eric Armstead, year 11. Austin Johnson, year 10. You didn't have a lot of that here in Jacksonville recently. I got a thought on that in a moment. But first and foremost, I want to hear General Manager James Gladstone's thoughts on that. He caught up with the media earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center. This cut courtesy of our friends at Jaguars.com. Gladstone was asked about bringing in so many veterans.
It's hard to deny the helpfulness of veteran presence, especially when trying to do some version of a regime change, right? And make it so that now we got a couple folks that can be relied on outside just the coaching staff to sort of tilt the scales of how we'd like to operate and things of that nature. So it definitely plays a big part. It has in our decision-making process, and certainly like that about guys who are coming from experience in winning programs, right? And be able to tap into the idea that it's not always perfect in order to get a win, but there's certainly a mindset attached to those types of individuals, especially when you go through adverse moments as well and being able to come out on the right side.
One more from General Manager James Gladstone. We talk about the roster turnover, right? Last night, we mentioned that there are 27 different guys on this initial 53-man roster in 2025, as opposed to what we had a year ago in 2024. That's over half the roster. That is a big, big number. James Gladstone was asked about the roster turnover earlier today.
It wasn't something that you intentionally set out on saying, hey, we're going to turn over this percentage or this number of the roster. It was an organic approach. And I think when you have high demands for players and expectations of standards, it can become easier to sift through who makes the most sense moving forward and who makes the most sense for being here. Certainly excited about the group that we got in the moment, but can't say that it was with any intent to get to a certain number or percentage of roster turnover.
More from General Manager James Gladstone in a moment. Again, those cuts courtesy of our friends at Jaguars.com. Back to the veterans, all right? The Jaguars still have the 10th youngest team in the league, average age of just over 26 years old. But I'll admit, I was always the guy that would choose youth. You know, if you're competing, if a 24-year-old in year 3 is competing for the same spot as a 31-year-old in year 9, and they're close as far as what they give to the roster, what they bring to the roster, well, me, I would always choose the 24-year-old. And I think that was probably a common thought here in Jacksonville for many, many years. And where did that get us, right? That got us absolutely nowhere. So I kind of like the fact that they've brought in some quote-unquote older guys. Again, you talk about the roster turnover and you link it up with the veteran presence. New tight end Johnny Munt, year 8. New tight end Hunter Long, year 5. New offensive lineman Patrick McCarry, in year 7. New offensive lineman Robert Hainsey in year 5. New offensive lineman Chuma Edoga in his 7th year in the league. You go to Emmanuel Agba entering year 10. Dewan Smoot back on the roster entering year 9. Couple of new interior defensive linemen. Austin Johnson entering his 10th year in the league. Colin Saunders entering year 7 in the league. I like that. little older, a little more experience, maybe provide you more guidance when times are going bad, and certainly times have been very bad for a very long time here in Jacksonville. But I like the sprinkling in of veterans with the youth movement. Again, despite all those guys I just mentioned, the Jaguars still, according to the metrics that I saw earlier, have the 10th youngest roster in the National Football League, an average age of just over 26 years old. But I believe last year the Jaguars were certainly in the top 5, and maybe we're in the top 3 as far as youngest rosters in the NFL. So despite going young at GM and going young at head coach, which they certainly did, they went a little older, a little more experience with the makeup of the roster. And I like that. I like that a lot. Again, James Gladstone had an awful lot to say today. The 53-man roster is set. The practice squad is almost set. Again, a deep dive on this offseason. It has officially come to an end. We're locked into regular season mode now. We're a week and a half away from this thing kicking off for real against Carolina on September 7th. And we are certainly still in the honeymoon phase. I'm still in it. Most of you are still in it, no doubt, right? I am very, very high on what James Gladstone and Liam Cohen and Tony Boselli have done. But I've said, as much positivity as I've given them over the last weeks and months, I've been very careful to also include in that, time will tell. Will this work? We don't know, but I like where we are right now. Well, right now is one thing. Next week, it gets serious, all right? Next week, it begins to matter. And you know as well as I do, football fans here in Northeast Florida, we're all excited. Jaguar fans are fired up about what Gladstone and Cohen have done. But if they go out there against Carolina and look like crap, it's going to be a very quick ending to the honeymoon phase. Very, very quick. Everything has been sunshine and rainbows. Everything has been violins and harmonicas and kumbaya around the bonfire this entire offseason, for the most part. I hope it stays like that. But as I often say, the months of June, July, and August in every NFL market are the months of hope. Hope springs eternal in those 3 months, man. Like it has here in Jacksonville. Reality hits you in the face in the month of September, much like it did here a year ago for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's hope reality isn't as shocking in 2025 for us as it was in 2024. 641-1010 is the phone number if you want to get involved tonight on Hacker After Dark on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You are more than welcome to do so. College football fans, Florida fans, the radio voice of the Florida Gators, Sean Kelly, about 25 minutes away. Florida State fans, the play-by-play voice of the Seminoles, Jeff Colhane, a little less than an hour away, as we will hear from both radio voices of the Gators and the Seminoles tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up next, let's get back into the Jaguars. Talk about the 53-man roster, how it fell down, how it worked itself out, if you will, and what's going to happen moving forward as now all eyes begin turning to Carolina. My buddy Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4 joins me next on a Wednesday night in Northeast Florida. It's Hacker After Dark.
Gator fans are known to get rowdy.
Especially us.
Hicken and Prosser here.
Join us for a first-of-its-kind podcast, Swamp Session.
Live stream from Voodoo Brewing Company.
Right after every Gator football game on the social channels of 1010XL.
Driven by Atlantic Infinity.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Cold Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bolt City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate, full of choices and all of them good.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Friday night lights are shining even brighter as 1010XL has partnered with Channel 4 to bring you Friday Night Lights, a live streaming show at 7 o'clock every Friday, presented by Farah and Farah on the social media channels of 1010XL and Channel 4.
If you want to sell your home, or you're worried about selling your home, or you've had trouble selling your home, let me give you the hotline to the help you need. That's the hotline to Chad and Sandy. 904-414-6200, chadandsandy.com. Area homes are selling, but you got to get the right price, and you need the right marketing, the proven systems. Chad and Sandy hit every base for you. Need to sell now? Instant offers coming. Fast, easy, stress-free. You want max price? Chad and Sandy bring your home to market with unmatched exposure, whether you're buying or selling. Fast or max cash, Chad and Sandy have the proven plan guaranteed. And how about this promise? Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. They are the real estate experts you can trust. So call them today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, A-N-D, Sandy.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee & Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Pick it here with a game winner. It's Checkmate Coatings. I've scouted them all. And this Jacksonville crew's the real deal.
I'm Brendan, owner of Checkmate Coatings. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision.
Score big at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars down to 53. Practice squad is intact as well. We're actually going to be out at the Miller Electric Center tomorrow for practice. I'll have a one-on-one conversation with somebody tomorrow. Don't know who yet, but one of the guys on the 53-man roster, as now all eyes begin pointing towards Carolina, Sunday, September 7th, only 11 days from right now. Let's talk about the Jaguar roster with Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4, always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Jamal, how we doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Hacker?
Jamal, we're good. Thank you for the time. And boy, it's been a busy 24 plus hours for the Jaguars. We'll get into individual specifics in a moment. But Jamal, a broad overview, 53-man roster, biggest takeaways that you have.
They flipped it. I mean, they flipped it. He moved on. The Jaguars have moved on from what was left of Trent Baalke as just about quickly as they possibly could. Stashed a couple of undrafted free agents on the defensive line group, which I think are real valuable, especially when you think about the fact that the last time they had an undrafted free agent make the 53 was 2023, and that was Elijah Cooks, and it was just one guy. So year one, they keep two of them on the roster. So we'll see what BJ Green and Danny Strigal turn into. But look, they flipped this thing. They're moving on from what was left and trying to almost a pretty close to a clean start as you're going to get in the NFL.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, now there were a couple of asterisks, like Christian Braswell was a practice squad guy at the beginning of last year. Trammell was as well, although he was released earlier today. Hopefully he'll come back on the practice squad again. But if you go back to August of last year and compare that initial 53 with the one that came out yesterday, Jamal, it's 27 guys that were on the initial 53 last year that are no longer here. I mean, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. And you know what? I'll even give Braswell a pass because really, since he's been drafted, he's been banged up. I think when I talked to him during training camp, he said this was the healthiest toward the end of training camp that he's ever felt in his NFL career. So really injuries have sidelined him. So look, I'll give him a little bit of a pass, even though he was a bulky pick. But man, look, they're trying to solve the problems on the roster as actively as possible. I think it's a breath of fresh air from a general manager that sees issues and is going out to solve them rather than just waiting and sitting pat and saying, well, guys got to have a chance to play so they can develop. Look, go solve the problem. He actively attacked the defensive tackle problem. At one point, I mean, for a big chunk of camp, Tyler Lacey was getting starting snaps. And then Tyler Lacey doesn't make the 53. He attacked the issue that was there. And then you go and do the same thing at wide receiver. You go make the trade for Tim Patrick. And I think one of the things that stuck out to me by going and get that, and we had kind of talked about it a little bit, was, you think about the wide receiver room almost like a basketball team. You need guys that can play different styles, different positions. And Tim Patrick goes and gets you a 6'5", big body kind of guy that if you were talking like hoops, maybe he's your center, as opposed to you kind of had a bunch of guards before that. So, I like what Gladstone's doing, man.
Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4 with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. All right, you mentioned the two defensive ends, the undrafted free agents, Strigal and BJ Green. I said this last night. One undrafted free agent makes a 53 every once in a while. Two undrafted free agents make a 53. It's interesting. Two undrafted free agents, Jamal, that play the same position that make a 53, I would have to think is almost unheard of. I mean, that to me was maybe the biggest shock value, that both of those guys at the edge both made the roster.
Yeah, it's rare that something like that happens, but I think part of the appeal of James Gladstone and his willingness to trade draft picks is his betting on himself that he can find guys that can contribute off the street or with those late day 3 picks. So I think that's part of it. That's why he's willing to move on from that first round pick. I mean, think about what the Rams did. They moved on from early picks and went and found guys on day 3 of the draft that were able to play big roles and develop into players for them. So he's kind of betting on that. I think it also magnifies what we've said here in Jacksonville for years, and the Jaguars' previous front office argued with it. There wasn't enough horses in the stable when it came to pass rushers. We kept saying, you need a third pass rusher. And they were like, well, we got 2 guys. What do we need a third one for? So I think it just, kind of magnifies the fact that, look, this offseason, they brought back Josh and Trayvon. They went and got Emmanuel Ogbah. They went and got Dewan Smoot. And they still felt like they didn't have enough and kept 2 undrafted free agents that do that. So, and I think both of them are big guys. I think both of them got some potential. The Minnesota guy, Danny Strigal, I mean, you can't not love this guy's story of like getting the call last minute at the Senior Bowl, showing up, getting off the plane, going straight to practice. He just wants to play football. The next thing you know, he's on a 53-man roster. He's from a wrestling family. So his brothers were big-time wrestlers at Michigan. It just kind of worked out that football had more offers for him. So, I mean, look, every defensive line coach is loving when they hear that because, wrestling helps you work on that technique. It helps you out there on the football field. And this guy's been wrestling his whole life, including against his brothers. So, look, I love those two guys. We'll see what they can develop into and if they end up paying big dividends for the Jags over the next couple of years. But, yeah, you don't normally see two at the same position. Normally you might get two on the whole roster. But I think it just, puts a magnifying glass on the lack of juice they had in that defensive end room.
Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4. Jamal, we knew keeping 4 running backs was going to cost another position, a body. It appears a wide receiver. They're only keeping 5 as of now. You mentioned the trade for Tim Patrick this morning. They then cut Austin Trammell. That's a brutal, again, part of the business. Trammell makes the 53 yesterday, only to get released, 16 hours later. But with that, you got Travis Hunter, BTJ, De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington, Tim Patrick, only 5 receivers, Jamal. Is that a result of keeping 4 running backs?
Maybe a little bit. I think that they're going to play a lot of 2 tight end. They're going to play a lot of 2 running backs. Like right now, you'll probably can expect to see a lot of Tank and Travis Etienne on the field a handful of times at the same time. So I don't know that you're going to see those crazy numbers at wide receiver as much in this offense. I'm not expecting to see a bunch of 4 wide out sets. We'll see how it all shakes out, but I think there's going to be a heavy rotation of a bunch of different sets and different looks. And you know what? This thing isn't set, Hacker. This thing is far from set. We'll see. Look, one of those running backs could end up getting shipped out before it's all said and done. But only time will tell if they can end up getting a deal done on that. I know we've kind of talked about it over the course of this thing, and this thing is far from locked in. So teams are still working. Teams are still massaging that 53-man roster. And, there's always that possibility of one of these guys having a new home before it's all said and done.
I thought it was a good sign that both Monteric Brown and Cole Van Lanen were not put on the IR eligible to return. Jalen McLeod was, but Van Lanen and Brown make the initial 53. Well, I know we'll talk to Liam Cohen tomorrow, but that would lead you to believe that both of those guys are getting close to coming back.
Man, that is great news. I'll tell you, when I sat down and did my 53, I put more guys on short-term IR than I care to admit at this point now that we've seen how it shook out. I'll tell you, the guy I was the most worried about was Wyatt Milam starting on short-term IR, just because he got banged up at the end of camp down in Miami. He wasn't looking like he was moving too well. So, you leave that to just looking at it and saying, oh, well, it looks like that's going to take a couple of weeks, but I guess he's going to be healthier quicker than maybe I expected. And that's why I try not to try and guess much on injuries because I'm far from a doctor. But definitely the health of this team is better than maybe we gave it credit for. But they did tell us they were being cautious with guys and that they were just, rolling up precautionary and trying to make sure that guys were going to be ready when week 1 got there. So that was the hard thing. I think the biggest shock injury-wise to a lot of people was Caleb Ransaw.
Yeah.
I guess people were saying maybe we didn't talk about it enough, but I think a lot of us had already gotten the feeling that Ransaw was going to get shut down. That lower body injury, it's not great. I think they gave it a chance to see if he could start to heal. Looks like it didn't work out like that, so probably going to need surgery or just a lot more time. So we're going to end up taking a redshirt year on this thing. With Caleb Ransaw, and we'll see what he's got next year. That's a big blow for that safety room too, Hacker, because, that was a guy that, he's explosive. He was starting to come on. I think a lot of us expected that at some point this year, Ransaw was going to be a starter for this team. So now you got to start looking toward next year for him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But if there was a position for that to happen, Wingard, Murray, Johnson, Savage, you got some guys there. Rayon Lane as well. I know they love Rayon Lane on special teams, so we'll see if that factors in at all with his playing time, the injury to Ransaw. Final thought on the Jaguars, Jamal. Again, we're down at practice again tomorrow. Liam Cohen scheduled to address the media tomorrow. I know we heard from James Gladstone earlier today. I get the vibe that the fan base is excited about what has transpired. We're going to be diving into Carolina very, very soon. They come here in 11 days, but with preseason in the rearview mirror, training camp in the rearview mirror, a flipped roster, as you mentioned, there is certainly a lot of excitement in this city about the regular season getting underway.
Look, there should be. There should be excitement about this. This is a fresh start. You're going to see a different offense. I think that Liam Cohen's offense, one way or another, is going to be more exciting and more fun to watch. I think we won't know what the full picture looks like until it gets out there on the field, Hacker. That's the hard part. But as I've said the whole time, when people kind of are second guessing this roster, saying, oh, I don't know if they can win enough games, look around the AFC South. And there's no juggernaut that says, I got the South locked up. The Texans have all kinds of questions along the offensive line, at running back. Do they have enough supporting staff around C.J. Stroud for him to maybe get back to the heroics we saw from him as a rookie? All kinds of questions there, far from answered. And then you look at the Titans, they're going to have a true rookie quarterback. What sort of supporting staff do they have around him? And the Colts are rolling with Daniel Jones. If you've watched Daniel Jones in New York, the expectations probably shouldn't be too high there. So, look, the AFC South is anybody's division. Why can't the Jaguars be the team that goes and gets it? And I think it is 100% open. I think there's a chance that this team looks up in December and is in first place in the AFC South. So I think excitement should be high. And this is a roster. There's difference. I'm a big-time believer in first-year head coach. Like, teams don't know fully what you want to do out there. So it's tough for them to game plan for you, especially early in the season, because they just don't know what your tendencies are. So I think that gives you a little bit of an advantage early in the year, too.
You mentioned excitement. There's certainly a lot of excitement about the Friday Night Lights, week one of the regular season here in Northeast Florida last week. A lot of really good, compelling storylines all over the high school gridiron. And we debuted our show, the partnership between Channel 4 and 1010XL, Friday Night Lights on 4 Plus and 1010XL. Enjoyed being with Justin Barney last week, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock every Friday, streaming on the Channel 4 social media platform and on the 1010XL social media platform. Jamal, I know Justin and I will be getting after it again Friday night at 7 o'clock in what should be a very intriguing week number 2 here under the Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, come on now. Week number 2 of high school football. This is going to be Reigns' first game, so we want to see what that team has together. Look, I'll be at the Principal's Cup, so that one's always fun between Mandarin and Atlantic Coast. I know the Mustangs are one of the must-see kind of high school football teams around the area because of the fireworks they put out there, and they've really dominated the Principal's Cup. But Atlantic Coast put it on Parker last week, so we'll see if the Stingrays can take the Cup home. Would be a first time in a while, but, look, the excitement is definitely at no shortage. High school football, it doesn't get too much better than that in Florida. A ton of great athletes out there on the field. And, look, I love high school football season. There's nonstop action. Love to see what these different teams, how they grow over the course of the year. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have a couple of them that'll take home some state championship action for us this year.
Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4. Again, remember to join Justin Barney and myself Friday Night Lights on 4 Plus and 1010XL, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, as we're streaming live, real reaction as games are going on both the Channel 4 and 1010XL social media platforms. Jamal, appreciate it, man. I'll see you down there at practice tomorrow.
All right. See you, Hacker.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there as number 2 overall draft pick Travis Hunter, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, and new head coach Liam Cohen take the field for the first time during the 2025 NFL regular season. Secure your seats for when the Jaguars take on the Panthers September 7th by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
Playoff-bound Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are in full swing at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, got a minute?
Always. What's on your mind?
This time of year, my air conditioner is running non-stop. Hot all day, hot all night. It has to run constantly just to keep up.
Well, that's what they do.
But if something happens to it in the middle of a 2-week heat wave, I'm in trouble, Jason. I can't wait 3 days or 2 days or even the next day for service. If you can't get someone here today, I'm sweating by tonight. What if it breaks, Jason?
You call me, pal. That's what we do. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
But you're probably swamped with calls from everyone else's AC that ran nonstop and then broke in a heat wave, so they called you because that's what you do.
But we always have room for an emergency. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, We have techs standing by because we know these things happen.
So I don't need to worry. Wow. That time you calmed me down without even using the sunglasses.
Oh, I was reaching for them.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House. Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentist and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Hacker here, and you guys know I always tell you the benefits of Awaken 180 weight loss. Well, I had another one last week. I went down to Disney for Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party, right? And I actually dressed up in a costume along with my wife and my son. Now, 100 pounds ago, I would not have ever dreamed of dressing up in a costume nor getting my picture taken because I didn't want to get my picture taken. I didn't want it plastered all over the internet with the way I look. But thanks to Awaken 180 and losing over 100 pounds, you get more confidence. You can wear costumes now. You can be part of the family fun. It's just another benefit that Awaken 180 provides. It's a healthy lifestyle. I'm in the maintenance program now. It's absolutely awesome. Again, I cannot possibly recommend Awaken 180 enough. Losing weight has changed my life. If it's time to change your life, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. If I can do it, you can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us on a Wednesday evening before what is going to be 5 consecutive days of college football, man. Kicks off tomorrow. Pretty good slate of games tomorrow. I want to say, is it Boise State, South Florida?
Yeah, 5:30.
Yeah, 5:30 on a Thursday.
Prime time.
Gator fans, you can do a little scouting, right? You'll see USF in week number 2, but they will play Boise tomorrow. I guess that's the TV networks trying to get as many games on as they can. I love it. Thursday night football to begin the college football season. So here's what you have. I'm going to give you the greatest hits because I don't want to list all of them. Boise State, South Florida, East Carolina, NC State on the ACC network. Then you go down, Missouri starts tomorrow. They play Central Arkansas, but they're the first SEC team to kick off in 2025. You got Nebraska, Cincinnati. 9 o'clock tomorrow night for Nebraska and Cincinnati. Miami of Ohio, Wisconsin tomorrow night as well. So look, I mean, is it a great lineup? Probably not great, but hey, it's college football. You got about 10 games tomorrow, probably 10 or so games on Friday, and then you have just an awesome Saturday of college football. Now, I would not include Florida in that. Florida is playing Long Island University. Originally, this was supposed to be FAMU, and I don't know the whole story, what happened or what didn't happen, but regardless, the FAMU game got called off. Florida had to scramble to find somebody, and they found Long Island University. It is what it is. It's a bad opener, but, I mean, give me a break. When Florida has games against, in a 5-week stretch, at LSU, at Miami, a bye week, Texas, and at Texas A&M, and then you still lump games against Georgia, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Florida State in there. I mean, give me a break. Florida doesn't have to have any excuses for anything that they do on opening weekend. So I take it for what it is. I think Florida's going to go out there, and it's probably going to look like an NFL preseason game. the game should be over at halftime, or definitely should be over midway through the third quarter, and you get the young guys in. You get DJ Lagway out there, you let him throw it around a little bit. I would not run DJ Lagway at all. There's no reason to. I don't think you play any of your guys that aren't 100%. You know, whether that's Dallas Wilson, whether that's Caleb Banks. We know about all the lower body issues, injury-wise, that have gone on over in Gainesville. I wouldn't play any of those guys. You want them as healthy as they can possibly be for LSU. We'll see about USF. I think you'll get a good gauge on USF tomorrow to see what they have when they take on Boise State. But nevertheless, Florida football does get underway on Saturday, and you will hear every Gator game right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. And the play-by-play voice of the Florida Gators is my buddy Sean Kelly on the Gator Radio Network, and he joins me next to preview the 2025 Florida Gators. Gator fans, your play-by-play voice, Sean Kelly, next right here on Hacker After Dark.
1010XL is your home for play-by-play of Bishop Kenny football.
The Crusaders season kicks off at home against University Christian. Friday night at 7 on 92.5 FM.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and my knee was getting worse, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has proudly served Jacksonville from the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard. From archery to hunting and fishing, they've got the gear, service, and know-how to get you outdoor ready. Stop by their full-service archery pro shop and check out their wide selection of firearms. And while you're there, sign up for their weekly concealed weapon classes. You can find it all at greenacresporting.com.
Your grandfather was stronger at 50 than you are at 40. Want to know why? His testosterone was 30% higher than yours. That's not genetics. That's modern life killing your hormones. Stress, chemicals, sitting, it's all crushing your T levels. Male Excel reverses it. Prescription testosterone, thyroid optimization, personalized to you. Over 100,000 men are already winning again. Your turn. Try MaleExcel.com. Free assessment because you deserve it. Your family deserves it.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida and Long Island, Saturday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio, as you will hear every Florida Gator football game this year in the city of Jacksonville. A lot of expectations for Billy Napier entering year number 4 in what should be a very tough but a very exciting Florida Gator football schedule. Let's talk to the man you will hear on the play-by-play call of Gator football this year. That is Sean Kelly, the voice of the Florida Gators, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Sean, happy football season to you, man. How are you?
Yeah, Ryan, happy New Year to you, too. It's always great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate the time, a busy week for you. And, boy, what an exciting offseason. Everything that transpired from the transfer portal to recruiting, spring ball into fall camp, and it finally kicks off on Saturday night.
Yeah, it really does. And for the first time in, like 4 or 5 years, you're not starting off the season with a ranked opponent. I think it's kind of a nice way to start the season. For those that don't know, Long Island was kind of a late replacement of the Gators' schedule. Florida A&M University, originally a part of the 2025 schedule, backed out, and so they scrambled and got Long Island. So it'll be my first look ever at the Sharks, and the Gators will try and make it now, 5 wins in a row and get Billy Napier back above 500 overall and really try to just carry over the momentum that they found themselves enjoying at the end of last season.
Well, and you mentioned it right there, momentum. I mean, the Gator fan base over here in Jacksonville, I'm sure, as you know, as well as everywhere else, very excited with wins over LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, and the bowl game to end the year. Billy Napier back for year number 4, well-deserving in my opinion, and that excitement from the end of last year has certainly resonated to the beginning of this season.
Yeah, it seems kind of difficult, right, that you can carry momentum over from December, but I guess you can in some respect. I think momentum gets trumped by the simple fact that this will be the most complete roster that Napier's had yet. I think, and again, my time with Florida matches up with Billy's time. So for the first time, I look at the Gators as now evening the playing field with regard to talent and depth amongst their SEC brethren. And I'm talking about the top tier teams. So now in a lot of ways, I think that the separator as it is amongst those, in the top 4, 5, 10 in the country is, a mental thing. It's the little things. It's executing on a week in and week out basis and then staying healthy too. So, for the first time, I kind of am enjoying camp and enjoying what's to come here, knowing that at least, the tools in the toolbox are kind of on the same plane as those they'll have to compete against in this rigorous schedule.
Sean Kelly is the voice of the Florida Gators. You will hear his call, Florida and Long Island, Saturday night. The game will be broadcast right here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Sean, you're obviously very close with Billy Napier. You work with him every day during the football season. I found myself happy for Billy to experience some success at the end of last year. I like Billy. I'm rooting for Billy, and it was happy to see it end the way it did last year, him come back for a 4th year with all these expectations.
Yeah, I like Billy too, and I like his process, and I want the best for him because the best for him is best for all of us Gators. So there's that, but I'm also really excited, or I was very happy to see the players do what they did last year. I think I think, yes, Napier gets credit, but a lot of it had to be on the players in a lot of ways to turn that season around last year and then to enjoy, the work or the reward of the work of trying to get that done. And so that group that is a part of this year's team, has that on their resume, but B, mentally, as far as their ability to do that, to kind of change the course, or at least, get this program finally over a hump that, had been building and, they've been climbing for the first couple of years under Billy Napier. So there's a lot of that. One thing is very clear, whether it's last year's group or what I see now, they really like Billy Napier and they want to do right by him. And that's, that's a necessary ingredient to a successful team or program.
It's crazy to say this, Sean, but you might have to go back to the days of Tim Tebow to find a player that Gator Nation is as excited about coming into a year as DJ Lagway. And it's crazy to think that this time last year, Lagway wasn't even the starter, right? Graham Mertz was. Lagway got the ball middle of the year when Mertz got injured. We know Lagway has dealt with some health issues in his own right, some lower body issues as well as a shoulder issue, but it appears all is well now. And DJ Lagway, you talk about expectations, boy, there's a ton on that kid in his sophomore season.
Yeah, I mean, it's been that way since he's been a junior in high school in some regards. And I think that I loved the fact last year that it was Graham Mertz's team at the start of the season, and it did not have to be DJ Lagway's team to begin his college career. As you mentioned, obviously, there was a kind of a 2-quarterback system there for a bit, and then it was DJ's team, and he ends up going 6-1 as 6-1 as a starter, 6-0 in games that he was able to complete in its entirety. So not only did he get game experience, but he won. And with that, now the new expectations, right? And now it is his team. And maybe you're right in saying most excitement about a particular player since Tebow. Hard to gauge that. I mean, if we're being a little bit honest here, the Tebow thing was so outrageously, how do I do this? Off the charts. Some of it's because he was a Florida guy, right? He was from your neck of the woods. And so, I think there's that. There was more Heisman talk around Tebow. That could grow with Lagway. We'll see. His health is a major storyline for this team. But it's clearly his now, and he is a leader, and he does have tremendous talent with a really high ceiling. And I'm really glad that he has been able to overcome a lot of the issues that he had, at the end of last season and then go into the offseason with regard to his physical well-being.
Couple more for Sean Kelly, the radio voice of the Florida Gators. You will hear his call Saturday night, Florida and Long Island. The game will be broadcast here on 1010XL Radio. Sean, it's not the sexiest thing to talk about when you talk about the lines of scrimmage on the O-line and the D-line, but Florida has 4 guys for sure, more than that, but certainly 4 that would be in the NFL right now had they decided to leave after last season. We talk about Austin Barber and Jake Slaughter on the O-line, Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks on the D-line. The fact that all 4 of those guys who would be playing on Sundays decided to come back has really strengthened the lines of scrimmage, and it might be, at least on the offensive line side, Sean, maybe the best O-line Florida's had in over a decade.
Yeah, it very well could be, and it's one of the best in the country, and it is sexy to me because it speaks to what I said earlier about, closing the talent and depth gap amongst the elite teams in the country. I mean, that offensive line it did a tremendous job last year, and to have most all of it intact coming back to this year is a huge deal. I mean, I don't want to see a Gators quarterback running for their life like I have at times over the last couple of years. And when you have the talent in the running back room behind that offensive line, they're going to be able to be balanced and do a lot of great things. I mean, that offensive line allowed just 20 sacks last year. That's 10th in the country. If they can even duplicate that or come close, you're in good shape. And not to mention the leadership that goes along with a guy like Barber, with a guy like Slaughter, who will be on Gator Talk this week with Billy Napier. So those are all big things. And then on the opposite side, too, the story of Jamari Lyons coming back after the season-ending injury in camp last year. Banks not yet ready to go, but we'll be fine, here as we get into the meat of the schedule. and then those edge guys, because you mentioned Tyreek Sapp, but there's also this guy named George Gums who's really solid off the edge as well, and a newcomer named Jaden Woods that's trying to turn some heads, and LJ McCray will be in the mix here eventually too. Up front, both sides of the football, Ryan, the Gators are in really good shape right now. And again, sometimes we get lost in the weeds about a lot of things regarding this game, but most of the time it comes down to protecting the quarterback and affecting the other team's quarterback. And I think Florida's in the best shape they've been now in several years in those categories.
Sean, as we begin to wrap up, let's talk about the talent around DJ Lagway. We all know about Jaden Ball, big things expected out of that young man. There's a couple of other running backs, including Jackson, that I'm pretty high on. And then you look at the wide receiver room, a healthy Trey Wilson, Sturdivant, the transfer from UCLA, and a number of young guys looking to make an impact. It does appear Florida has a lot at the skill positions as well.
Depth everywhere. You're right. And Jaden Ball has looked tremendous this camp, and now heading into week one. I think he's clearly the number one back, but we know that Billy Napier loves kind of using multiple backs, and there you go. There's Jacoby Jackson, the young man that you mentioned. He's in that mix. Katie Daniels is in a battle right now for kind of the third running back spot. But when you have a battle going on for that spot and you're set for your first two, I think that's a very good sign. And then, you mentioned Trey Wilson finally being back. It's hard for me to remember the last time I think that he was an impact player for Florida. If I'm not wrong, Ryan, I think it was the Kentucky game last year, and we really haven't gotten a whole lot of Trey Wilson since. So, but you get J. Michael Sturdivant, who I think is going to have a monster year, and you combine him with these young, talented guys. Vernell Brown III, Nashawn Montgomery is very much in the mix. Dallas Wilson will be when he comes back from his current injury. There are other guys turning heads too, and you have some depth as well with a guy like Aiden Mizell who can still take the top off with his speed. There's a lot of good going on, and I don't want to glance away from tight end depth as well. That's something that was a Billy Napier thing when he was at Louisiana. He hasn't really had the tools to utilize it at Florida, but Hayden Hansen and Livingston and Amir Jackson all are in that mix too. Look, Lagway does not have to win games all by himself, and that's a very good thing. I think Florida's going to score, as they did down the stretch during that 4-game winning streak.
Sean, tell the Gator fans over here in Jacksonville what they can look forward to on the broadcast this season on the Gator Radio Network.
Yeah, usually we're on the network at 3 hours prior to kickoff, which means Saturday it's 4 o'clock with a kickoff at 7. And, the great Shane Matthews and Tate Casey are back with me during the game. Jeff Cardozo and Tate will be on that pregame show. And we also add Kevin Winter, who comes to us from ESPN Radio National to be a part of our coverage this year as well. So we're looking forward to it. We'll do our best to hopefully convey a lot of great Gators moments starting this fall and of course, on 1010XL in Jacksonville all season long.
Sean Kelly, the play-by-play voice of the Florida Gators. You will hear his call Saturday night as the Gators kick off 2025 against Long Island University. Sean, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
All right, Ryan, take care. Happy new football season to everybody.
I suppose the most obvious question is,
what is this?
I believe it is our fate to be here. It is our destiny. It is
1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
We're a veteran and
and still 100% locally owned and operated HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, and general contracting company. Ideal Conditions has been BBB accredited with an A+ rating since 2008 with 4.9 out of 5 stars from over 1,000 reviews on Google.
Call 904-500-GO.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
IdealConditionsJax.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjax.com.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph has been a legend on-road. They've branched out to their off-road division as well. Give us the latest on what you can find on the asphalt.
They've got some great new products. They've got the Scrambler 400s you can get into for a little less than you might think. It's a great price point bike, but still a Triumph.
So affordability is also part of the equation.
It is, and it looks good, and it rides good.
CyclesofJacksonville.com, or check them out on their Facebook page, the showroom ready and waiting for you on Atlantic near Regency at Cycles of Jacksonville.
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you all the latest options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK. Tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision. No hassle, no fuss. You ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the first coast focused.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We will go to the Motor City coming up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. One of my guys when it comes to the Detroit Lions is Benjamin Raven, MichiganLive.com. You also can hear him as the host of the Dungeon of Doom Detroit Lions podcast, as we will talk about Tim Patrick, the newest Jacksonville Jaguar. The Jaguars acquired Patrick earlier today in exchange for a 6th-round draft pick. So my conversation with Benjamin Raven, MLive.com, comes up at the bottom of the hour. We are less than 15 minutes away from Jeff Culhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles on the Seminole Radio Network. We certainly gave you a little bit of Sean Kelly just there, previewing the Gators season. We wanted to be fair and give you a little bit of Florida State as well and talk with their radio play-by-play man. You know, this is going to be a tough test for Florida State on Saturday. I'm not breaking any news there. Alabama probably going to win this game by double digits. I think they're a 13.5-point favorite. Truthfully, I would probably take Alabama and the points. I hate this matchup for Florida State. It is in Tallahassee, which will help, certainly. But I don't like it for the Noles for a lot of different reasons. But this is a game, and look, I know Florida State is a proud program, and they should be. They are Florida State. I mean, the team that, 13 years in a row finished ranked in the AP top 4. There was a time where Florida State played second place to no one in the world of college football. And they're trying to work their way back up the ladder. And I almost hate to say it like this, Denmark, but this is a game where if you lose it 38-27, won't that almost feel like a win for Florida State?
Yes. If this is within 10 points, I think I would take that if I'm a Florida State fan.
And that's a sad position to be in. And I'm not trying to be Hacker, the Gator Homer, orange and blue blinders, or whatever Florida State fans have accused me of in the past. I'm being 100% serious here. If you want a realistic thought from me on this game, if this game is 41-30, 38-27, maybe a little lower scoring, 23-13, that would feel like a win. What you don't want is 45-10. You don't want 45-10, because if there's 45-10, well, then the Mike Norvell stuff will start up very, very quickly. At least 38-27, if you keep it close, you could say, well, they're improving. And then you play two jokes. I mean, look, Florida plays LIU, so I can't really say much about that. But Florida State's next two games after Alabama, East Texas A&M. You know, that would be a heck of a matchup. If East Texas A&M played Long Island University, I'd like to see that, because that would be a great college football game. But it doesn't deserve to be on the Florida State schedule. And then they follow that up with Kent State. All right. So Florida State's going to win 2 games by default after Alabama. And truthfully, you got Alabama on August 30th. You got Miami on October 4th. You're at Clemson on November 8th. And you're at Florida on November the 29th. Those are 4 hard games. All right. Those are 4 games that Florida State might be double-digit underdogs in. Certainly will be big underdogs in all 4 of them. Outside of those 4, Florida State, you could argue, should win the other 8 games. They should beat East Texas A&M. They should beat Kent State. They go to Virginia on a Friday night, September the 26th. You can go to Virginia and win? Are you kidding me? I mean, look, you could lose that game too, but of course that's a winnable game. You get Pitt, but you get Pitt in Tallahassee. Interesting thing about Florida State's schedule. After October 11th, they only have 2 home games the remainder of the year. October 11th, they're home for Pitt. They go to Stanford October 18th. What a weird game. They got to go all the way out of California. That is a 10:30 East Coast kick on ESPN. Seminole fans are going to need to take a nap that day. That game won't get over until 2 in the morning. That's a weird game. So you go to Stanford on the 18th. You have a bye week. You get Wake Forest at home on November 1st. Then you're at Clemson on the 8th. You get Virginia Tech at home on the 15th. And then you end with road games at North Carolina State and at Florida. Denmark, I mean, we'll see about Virginia Tech, right? And NC State, Florida State seemingly can never go into Raleigh and win, even when they're good. That game will be tough. But clearly, outside of Alabama, Miami, Clemson, and Florida, the other 8 games, Florida State should have every opportunity to win.
It feels that way. And, I mean, we sit here. We are 3 days away from their first game, but we have no idea what Florida State is. And that's the biggest question. You know, we can talk about all the other teams and say, you know, they're good or they're not good here. And, you know, we can do all that. But we still have no idea what Florida State is, and we are a couple of days away from their first game.
It's a fair point. They got 49 new guys on the roster. New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Let me ask you this. Again, Jeff Colhane, the play-by-play voice of Florida State on the Seminole Radio Network, less than 10 minutes away. Let me ask you this. Home against Alabama, home against Miami, at Clemson, at Florida. The game of those 4 that Florida State is most likely to win.
I would lean
Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'd probably lean Miami 1. in that case.
And then, I mean, Alabama at home, at Clemson, at Florida. Let's be honest, those are tough, man. Those are tough. Maybe Alabama because you get them in Doak. Is there any conceivable way that you can see Florida State going into Clemson and winning?
I mean, Clemson, coughs up, 4 or 5 turnovers.
And if they're badly injured by that point because it's later in the year, I guess that's fair. But assuming that catastrophic injuries don't happen and both teams are about what they are right now, at Clemson, at Florida, to me, seem like the 2 toughest games. I would rank Miami at home as the most winnable of those 4. I mean, what's more likely for Florida State, to go into the swamp and beat Florida or to beat Alabama on Saturday?
Well, the thing is, Alabama's got a couple of injuries too.
Yeah,
that could affect them Saturday. I think Florida State, if you had to bet, would have a better chance of knocking Alabama off at home than they do playing Florida at the end of the year, unless Lagway's not playing.
Yeah, again, well, all these things need to work themselves out. We don't know what's going to happen injury-wise. But having said all that, normally when a team improves their win total by 3 or 4 games, that's a gigantic improvement. But in Mike Norvell's case, 6-6 with this schedule, I don't know if that saves his job despite the $50 million buyout. If Florida State goes 6-6, which is realistic, they're 8-16 in the last 2 years. How can you justify that? I mean, how can you justify that? To give him another year, 8-16 in 2 years at Florida State University. I don't know if they're going to be any better than 6-6. I mean, maybe 7-5. If they're anything north of 7-5, he needs to be in the running for ACC Coach of the Year. It kicks off on Saturday, Florida State and Alabama, 3:30 in the newly remodeled Doak Campbell Stadium in the state capitol. Let's talk a little Florida State football. Let's preview the Seminoles, and let's do it with my buddy Jeff Colhane. He is the play-by-play voice of Florida State on the Seminole Radio Network, and he joins me next to preview not only Alabama, but 2025 as a whole. We'll talk Seminoles. Jeff Colhane, Seminole Radio Network, next here on Hacker After Dark.
1010XL's running game takes a giant step forward.
Well, Fred Taylor is the whole package.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Listen to whatever you like, whenever you want.
I like this.
1010XL on demand. Ad-free shows after the live shows end. Shadowed by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
Summer's winding down, and we know you want to enjoy what's left of it. But before you celebrate this Labor Day weekend, plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Celebrate responsibly and remember to drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass. He told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here for my friends at Cleaning Freaks at Zero Res. Great time of the year to get your house Zero Resified. And right now, you can get your entire home cleaned from Jacksonville's Ultimate Carpet Cleaner. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135. Plus, they're throwing in a free hallway and take $100 off the air duct cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Football season is back, baby. Hicken here, and I know I'm excited to get back to watching some ball over the weekend. But with the fun comes responsibility. Taking care of your skin while outside, extremely important. We know it feels like 100 out there, and that sun is blazing. Make sure you bring the screen while loading up all that tailgate. It's simple. Protect your skin. It's the Sunshine State. To help you protect your skin, Beaches Dermatology is here. I've been going to them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us, and we have made it. What a weekend we have in store for us in the world of college football. Big games all over the country. You got LSU, Clemson, you got Miami, Notre Dame, you got Texas, Ohio State, and of course you got a big one at the newly refurbished Doak Campbell Stadium Saturday at 3:30 between Alabama and the Florida State Seminoles. Speaking of those Seminoles, let's go to Tallahassee. Jeff Colhane is the play-by-play voice for the Florida State Seminoles on the Seminole Radio Network, and Jeff is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Jeff, how you doing, man?
Ryan, great to talk to you, and if I'm talking to you, that means we got a big college football game coming up, so I'm doing great. We've been counting down the days for a long time, and what a great opportunity here coming up. You said it, newly refurbished Doak Campbell Stadium, which is just beautiful, with what Michael Alford has brought to the table and our Seminole boosters around the state. Great to be on in Jacksonville. A lot of great Noles in Jacksonville, Ryan, and so happy to be on with you once again.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate the time, and I want to preview the season, certainly preview Alabama. But, Jeff, there are a lot of Florida State fans over here that will be making the trip to Tallahassee to see the newly refurbished Doak Campbell Stadium. For longtime Seminole fans, how big of a difference will they notice on Saturday?
Massive difference. Absolutely massive difference. I mean, from everything to the concourses to the different bars that are available, the loge suites, the founder suites that many won't be able to get eyes on because those will be just restricted to those people that made that investment overall. And I tell you what, it makes a world of difference. And, you know, it's something from a standpoint where Doak Campbell Stadium it needed a little lipstick. And from a revenue generation standpoint, this is really going to help Florida State athletics continue to climb the ladder of where they are at in the ACC and really look to compete further with the big boys nationally. And it's a brand that is expected to compete for national championships. It didn't have the revenue generating opportunities within the stadium to be able to do that. But now it does on the west side. And I would go as far to say, Ryan, that For folks that sit on the east side, which is still, the original version, if you will, or the most recent updated version, when they see that west side renovation, they're going to want to have something done to their side of the stadium as well. It is that impressive, and people will definitely see a massive difference when they have a chance to see it on Saturday.
Jeff Colhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. Jeff, I want to get to the Alabama game in a moment, but big picture as we start. Obviously, last year was, well, quite frankly, a nightmare for Florida State fans, for everybody involved with that program. I don't think anybody saw 2-10 coming. But Mike Norvell has done things about that. A lot of new coaches, including Gus Malzahn, obviously a brand new quarterback in Tommy Castellanos. Just talk about the change on the staff and the player personnel from where the season ended to where we are now.
Yeah, big differences, like you said. I mean, new coordinators, Gus Malzahn, Tony White, defensively, upgrades at those spots there, I believe, and new coaches as well, new assistant coaches. Terrence Knighton comes in with Tony White from Nebraska. Evan Cooper, a safeties coach, makes his way as well. He was with Tony at Nebraska. You've got Tim Harris Jr., who was the OC at UCF with Gus. Herb Hand, a longtime offensive line coach, joins the staff at Florida State and has worked with Mike Norvell and Gus nearly 20 years ago at Tulsa back in the day. So they started off together at another college football stop at a different time, Ryan. And so, you've got the new coordinators, the new coaching staff, and it's certainly something that was needed after last year turned into just an absolute nightmare, as you said. 49 newcomers on the roster, and quite frankly, we're all going to find out together what this college football team looks like, because there's so many new players that are going to have to go out and perform for Florida State to be successful. That's at every level. You essentially have 5 new offensive linemen. Your starting quarterback is new. You have some new running backs, and Usman Chroma, a freshman, and Gavin Sawchuk, the Oklahoma transfer. New wide receivers, Deuce Robinson, Squirrel White, Javen Boggs from Cocoa, who's one of the best players in the state of Florida. Mr. Football his junior year just a couple of years ago. Randy Pittman, a tight end from Panama City Beach, is a newcomer that will be leaned on. Defensively, up front and at the linebacker spots, you've got, again, a lot of new faces with Jason Jenkins and also Deontay McCray, DeMonte Diggs, linebacker Elijah Herring, Stephon Thompson, who's been with Tony White, going back to Syracuse and for 2 years in Lincoln at Nebraska. The secondary, it probably returns the most guys that were here a year ago, but there is also a transfer cornerback in Jerry Wilson from Houston, also was at Syracuse, that will start and turn into the vocal leader of this group. So there's a lot of guys that we have not seen in the Garnet and Gold before that we're going to see for the first time on August 30th versus Alabama.
Couple more for Jeff Colhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. Obviously, the quarterback position is going to be the most talked about. That is Tommy Castellanos. He is familiar with Gus Malzahn. They spent some time together at UCF. And I remember Castellanos at Boston College gave Florida State fits a couple of times up there. He now will be the play caller and the signal caller for Florida State. What has been the thought on Castellanos' arrival?
Well, he's a guy that you're right. 2 years ago against that great 2023 defense, threw for 300 and nearly ran for 100 and almost pulled off the upset. And he was phenomenal that season. Last year, new head coach and Bill O'Brien, new offense, took a little bit of a step back, and those two just didn't really mesh together overall. But he was identified early on, Ryan, in the process of finding the next quarterback here at Florida State out of the portal by Gus, by Mike Norvell. He has that skill set that Gus Malzahn utilizes in this offense with a dual threat quarterback who is more efficient than people give him credit for throwing the football. If you look at his numbers, he has done a nice job throwing the ball over his 2 years at BC. And, of course, those two were together at UCF. That's where Tommy started his career collegiately, coming out of Ware County and Waycross, Georgia, and South Georgia. So Tommy has the ability. Big thing for Tommy is, hey, you don't have to hit a home run every time there's a play to be made. It's okay to throw the ball away and punt the football and live to see another day. But this is an exciting young talent who is confident. He's got one season, Hack. He's got 1 year in Florida State. He's really come in, embraced the role to be the quarterback at Florida State University, and he's brought some much-needed leadership qualities this team was lacking a season ago.
Jeff, I love the college football landscape now because of all the big games we have coming up here on Labor Day weekend. I mentioned at the top, LSU, Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame, Texas, Ohio State. You can go on down the line, and clearly Alabama, Florida State is on that list. But it is kind of an interesting scenario. You brought it up earlier. 49 new guys on the Seminole roster. And unlike the NFL, where you get a couple of preseason games, you don't have that luxury. I mean, you're going to throw those guys out there on Saturday afternoon at Doak Campbell Stadium against the Alabama Crimson Tide, and it's go time.
Yeah, the challenge is daunting, without a doubt. And I think anybody would, and I know it's been talked about in college football, playing a scrimmage of sorts against another team in the spring. And I don't know if that's going to happen down the road, but it's something that's been discussed at different times. But you're right. It is it's a lot of new guys, Ryan, trying to mesh together, and you don't get to have a game versus an East Texas A&M or a Kent State. It's one of the all-time great programs in college football in Alabama coming to town. But Florida State obviously holds itself in high esteem, and the Seminoles are a blue blood themselves, even though last season was not what anybody would expect or anybody wants to see happen ever again. But what a fun opening weekend. I mean, all these great matchups you brought up. And how about the ACC versus the SEC, Ryan? All these ACC-SEC matchups across the board. Clemson and LSU, Syracuse and Tennessee, Virginia Tech and South Carolina, Florida State and Alabama. If the ACC wants to quiet the SEC narrative on the, that's out there in social media and be chattered about, this is how you do it. You got to win these kinds of games and take advantage of the opportunities. And so a great chance for the ACC in big games in the opening weekend to go out and maybe change the perception a little bit around college football.
Jeff, final question. I mean, this is Florida State University. This is Chief Osceola, Renegade, the Garnet and Gold, and obviously they want to get that 2-10 taste out of their mouth as much as anybody. What an opportunity on Saturday. I know they're obviously big underdogs, and Alabama is certainly the overwhelming favorite. But if you're Mike Norvell and you're that staff and you're those players and you want to erase the nightmare of 2024, boy, what an opportunity you have on opening day in 2025.
Well, a win does it. That's for sure. A win takes away all the heartache and heartburn and disappointment from a season ago. And I think it recalibrates the expectations to a certain degree as well, depending on how you look in doing it. And you have to play great to beat Alabama because they'll be ready to go. I know there's some frustration with Kalen DeBoer in year one. He's a great coach. I mean, he's a tremendous coach. He got Ryan Grubb back as well, his play caller at Washington and years beyond that. Didn't have him a year ago, so that is a move they made to improve, and it's a great opportunity, like you said. And, even if Florida State doesn't win this game, Hack, I think there's really a chance the way Florida State's ACC schedule sets up to be able to put themselves in position to play in the ACC title game in Charlotte at the end of the year. And so this game is the one we're all talking about. It's extremely important, to say the least. You win this one, and wow, you feel really, really good about yourselves and look forward to what could be an extremely exciting college football fall of 2025.
Jeff, for Seminole fans making the trip over to Tallahassee from Jacksonville on Saturday, they're going to listen to the pregame broadcast. What can they look forward to?
Yeah, I would encourage everyone, download the FSU Game Day app. Free to download. You can take us with you wherever you go. Listen to our broadcast, the FSU Game Day app, and would encourage you to bring your AirPods as well. You can listen to us without delay now in Doak Campbell Stadium and watch the game as well in that FSU Game Day app. So make sure you get it, download it, bring the AirPods, charge up the phone, and we're going to have a fun day Saturday with Alabama in town.
Jeff Colhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. He will be on the call for Alabama and Florida State, 3:30 this Saturday afternoon. Jeff, I know you're extremely busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Always good, my friend. Thanks for having me on.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
If your house feels like a Florida swamp and your thermostat's just throwing out suggestions, then it's time to call Duck Duck Air Conditioning.
They showed up fast, fixed it right, and even cleaned up after. My house is finally chilled, and so am I.
Whether your AC needs a quick fix, a full replacement, or just a little TLC, Duck Duck Air Conditioning has got you covered with fast and honest service. Call 904-862-6769 to get your cool back, or online at duckduckac.com. When your AC is stuck, call the Duck.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Denny Thompson here. Look, don't get left in the dark. We're all trying to reason with hurricane season, so at least be prepared. For top-of-the-line generators in Jacksonville, I turn to Tyson. Licensed pros at Tyson deliver reliable, whole-home standby generators and provide fast repair service. They even do custom installations for local businesses, so don't wait. Ensure seamless installation and peace of mind. Call Tyson now, 904-762-1000 for a free estimate on generator services. TysonInc.com.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Thank you to both Jeff Colhane, the radio voice of the Florida State Seminoles, and Sean Kelly, the play-by-play voice of the Florida Gators, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark as both Florida and Florida State get their 2025 campaigns underway Saturday. Miami will play Sunday night against Notre Dame. I actually didn't realize that Virginia Tech, South Carolina is Sunday afternoon, so a nice little doubleheader there on Sunday. Georgia as well kicks off their season against Marshall. So very little trouble for Georgia and Florida, you would think. Obviously, much more compelling games between Florida State and Alabama and Miami and Notre Dame to begin the college football season. LSU, Clemson as well, and of course, Texas and Ohio State. More in the world of college football coming up on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. But let's get back into the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sure when you woke up this morning, you saw the news that a trade was made. Tim Patrick, the 31-year-old wide receiver from Detroit, comes to Jacksonville in exchange for a 6th-round draft pick. Interestingly enough, a couple of former Jaguars now, Daniel Thomas and Tyler Lacey, ended up in Detroit earlier today. My guy up in the Motor City is Benjamin Raven of MichiganLive.com. He's also the host of the Dungeon of Doom Detroit Lions podcast. Let's talk about Tim Patrick, what he'll bring to Jacksonville, and let's talk about some former Jaguars, including Daniel Thomas, what he will bring to Detroit. That conversation with Benjamin Raven of MichiganLive.com comes up next on a Wednesday night here in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an I-CAR Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Hacker here, and you guys know I always tell you the benefits of Awaken 180 weight loss. Well, I had another one last week. I went down to Disney for Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party, right? And I actually dressed up in a costume along with my wife and my son. Now, 100 pounds ago, I would not have ever dreamed of dressing up in a costume nor getting my picture taken because I didn't want to get my picture taken. I didn't want it plastered all over the internet with the way I look. But thanks to Awaken 180 and losing over 100 pounds, you get more confidence. You can wear costumes now. You can be part of the family fun. It's just another benefit that Awaken 180 provides. It's a healthy lifestyle. I'm in the maintenance program now. It's absolutely awesome. Again, I cannot possibly recommend Awaken 180 enough. Losing weight has changed my life. If it's time to change your life, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. If I can do it, you can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Did you know that basketball and volleyball were invented at the YMCA? That's right, and even today, the Y continues to lead the way in youth sports programming, from toddlers just starting out to teens ready to compete. The Y offers skill development, recreational play, and competitive leagues, all in a fun, supportive environment. Get your child in the game to build character and skills at the Y. Registration is now open for youth volleyball and soccer at fcymca.org.
Keep your ball out of the rough with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Get great golf tips from the experts every Saturday morning at 10. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour on 1010XL.
Jacksonville is my hometown and nobody knows roofing like me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We handle everything from repairs to full roof replacements, start to finish. We give honest quotes, use quality materials, and clean up like we were never there. We all look at Google reviews, so go ahead and check out ours. We're proud of all our 5-star ratings. I would say we treat you like family, but some people don't like theirs. Go to BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roof quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Shuffle up and deal for a cause. Let's go all in to help others out. Join the Hold'em for Life poker tournament coming up September 20th at Blessed Trinity Parish Hall. Every hand helps the Women's Help Center support expectant mothers and newborns.
Find out how you can be part of the cure for blood cancer at the Light the Night Walk at ViStar Ballpark November 22nd. Take the first step at lightthenight.org.
Dreams Come True is a local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Need or want cash?
Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available, ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
If life blindsided you tomorrow, would your family struggle? I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial, and I can help. One call could protect your family for life. 904-885-9566. Harborstone Financial.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jacksonville Jaguars made a trade earlier today. Tim Patrick from the Detroit Lions. What are the Jaguars getting with Tim Patrick? He certainly has some injury problems in his past, but he had a productive year for the Detroit Lions last year. Also, kind of ironic that former Jaguar safety Daniel Thomas signs with Detroit as well earlier today. So kind of a swap. Let's talk about all of it with Ben Raven. He's one of our guys up in Detroit. M Live is where you find his work. He's also the host of the Dungeon of Doom podcast. And Ben is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Ben, how we doing, man?
Hey, not too bad. Perfect timing for a little crossover episode with some Jaguars-Lions stuff going on this morning.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about that. And let's begin with Tim Patrick, a 6th-round pick to Detroit for Tim Patrick. If memory serves, Ben, you did a big write-up on Tim Patrick towards the end of the 2024 campaign. Your thoughts on Patrick coming down here to Jacksonville?
Yeah, that was I was working on a feature story on him for a couple of weeks, and then he went out and caught 2 touchdowns for his first score in more than 1,000 days. So that beautiful timing in that regard. But for Tim, honestly, even with rookie Isaac Tesla breaking out over the last month, many still had him penciled in as this team's wide receiver 3. Now, how meaty of a role that was going to be with Tesla and Khalif Raymond in house was kind of under the question marks in recent weeks. But I'll just say this, Patrick. Open camp, it was a little sluggish. It was a little rough. Then he got shut down for about a week or so, and he came back. And last week, I mean, he looked great in his first practice back, had a couple big plays in the team's inter-squad scrimmage, and then looked good in joint practices with the Dolphins, too. So, I mean, I think that week down really let him get right. And, I mean, he's a physical target. He's a great red zone threat. I mean, seriously, I mean, he was still gonna have a role in Detroit, just maybe not the role that he expected. And I'm just curious if the Lions went to him and said, your playing time's not going to be what it was. We want to do right by you. And hey, it looks like they found a spot where he could potentially contribute. But yeah, this is still a red zone target. And I mean, after missing 2 years, I was really impressed with how he kind of filled that Josh Reynolds role in Detroit. And I think he's still got a good year or 2 left in him for sure.
So based on what you're saying, maybe surprise in the Motor City that Detroit traded Patrick this morning?
Yeah, just because the deal was so cheap. I think he re-signed for like $2.5 million, with half of that being the signing bonus and half of that being the salary. I mean, just in terms of a great depth wide receiver, bring in something that they don't really have, and that's just pure height and length and red zone target. I mean, they're hoping Tesla fills that role, but yeah, it was a little surprised to see that happen, just because, I mean, he was going to play snaps. There's no doubt about it.
Ben Raven, MLive.com. He's also the host of the Dungeon of Doom podcast. He's one of our guys when it comes to the Detroit Lions. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. There is no doubt there are massive injury issues in the past. A torn ACL and a torn Achilles for Tim Patrick, I believe, in 2022 and 2023. He was healthy last year, right? 33 catches, almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Were there any effects from the injuries last season, in your opinion?
No, I mean, honestly, no. I mean, it took him a little bit to get up and running. He did start on the practice squad last year, but once he joined that offense and was on the field, and once he got it clicking with Jared Goff, I mean, honestly, like, he played 16 games last year. He looked good. And like I said, this year, yeah, it was a little slow to start training camp, but the Lions go pretty hard in practice. So that's usually takes a minute for someone to adjust to, especially when they hadn't done a training camp in 2+ years. But I mean, outside of, I think, like a they didn't even say what his injury was that shut him down for a week or two in camp, but it wasn't anything major. He was always on the sideline. He was always kind of working with trainers on the side. And this last week was the best he had looked since the spring program. So no, I mean, no true lingering effects. I mean, he's not a burner. He's not going to have tons of yards of separation, but I mean, he is someone who's got a giant catch radius, and he's someone who goes up and makes plays.
And you alluded to it earlier, Ben. Red zone target, obviously, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's a big dude. And you need the block in Liam Cohen's offense as a wide receiver. I know PFF had Tim Patrick among the top 15 wide receivers last year blocking downfield. That certainly is a part of his game.
Yeah, and the Lions receiver room has the saying, I know it's a common one in football, but no block, no rock, and they really do they really do epitomize that, and they really do bank on that in terms of playing time and everything like that. I mean, he's built to block, he's willing to block, and I mean, he's tailor-made for that type of offense, to be completely honest with you. I mean, he is not afraid to go and hit somebody for sure.
6th round pick goes back to Detroit, and ironically, Daniel Thomas, who was cut here in Jacksonville yesterday, signs with Detroit this morning. Daniel Thomas is a very good special teams player, Ben. Did not get a lot of opportunities here as a safety. Is that going to be a similar role for him in Detroit? Are they bringing him in to mainly be a special team stalwart?
Yeah. His playing time is going to continue to come on special teams, and that's just due to the fact that the Lions have Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph at starting safety, and those guys rarely come off the field. But that also not a surprising move there, just because when the Lions had their initial roster yesterday, there was only 2 pure safeties on the first initial roster, so they needed to find some safety depth. They've been working Rock Ya-Sin over there at safety. Looks like he's going to be in the mix there. He'll probably be the first safety up if anything happens to Branch or Joseph. But yeah, Khalil Dorsey, the Lions' top gunner, just got activated from PUP last week, so Thomas is great depth there. And I mean, Dave Phipp is one of the most respected special teams coordinators in the league, and the Lions let go 2 young safeties when they set their initial roster. He goes out and finds a guy with nearly 1,200 special team snaps in the last 5 years. I mean, he's gonna have a big role on special teams, I'd imagine.
And he seems like he's going to fit right into Detroit. I'll tell you, Daniel Thomas is a terrific locker room guy. He almost is going to fit Dan Campbell to a T, I think, which probably weighed into some of that decision-making as well.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what's the vibe on Thomas? I mean, everything I've read sounds like he's going to be a good fit here, too. I mean, they needed safety depth, and they needed a little extra for special teams, because with Patrick going to Jacksonville, that kind of puts Tesla in that wide receiver 3 role. You really don't want your wide receiver 3 playing a ton of special teams. So bang, there you go right there.
Yeah, you'll enjoy Daniel Thomas. Really good dude and a really good special teams player. It was a situation here where he wasn't the draft pick of the new regime. He was getting a little older, and they drafted Rayon Lane in the 6th round out of Navy, who's their guy, and Rayon Lane basically took Daniel Thomas's job. Ben, final question. I haven't talked to you since division previews earlier in the summer. What's the vibe on Detroit as we are, a week and a half away from the season?
Hey, the vibes are great. I mean, honestly, it's a supremely deep roster. I mean, there's a couple question marks at edge. They only got 3 edge rushers on the roster right now, but whenever Aiden Hutchinson is at the top of that room, you're doing pretty well. I mean, this team expects to be right in the mix for the NFC's North #1 seed again. I expect them to win 3 straight NFC Norths this year. I really do. I think this team, just top to bottom, is built for success, and not just fleeting success, but long-term success. The new additions on the offensive line have clicked, and just the defense really has a chance to be so much better this year. They are really stacked at all 3 levels.
Ben Raven, MLive.com. He's also the host of the Dungeon of Doom podcast. He's one of our guys when it comes to the Detroit Lions, as the Jaguars trade earlier today for Tim Patrick from Detroit, now coming here to Jacksonville. Ben, appreciate you joining me on short notice. Thank you, my friend, and we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. You guys will love Tim Patrick. We'll talk soon.
And thank you to Ben Raven, MLive.com. He's also the host of the Dungeon of Doom podcast. He's one of our guys when it comes to the Detroit Lions, as the Jaguars make a trade earlier today for Tim Patrick, a big, tall wide receiver. Certainly some injury problems in his past. He has an ACL and an Achilles, but he came back last year, was a healthy 16 games for Tim Patrick last year, 33 catches, almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. And by all indications, he's a great locker room guy. He's also a terrific blocker as a wide receiver, which are 2 qualities I know the Jaguar coaching staff is looking for to make room for Tim Patrick. The Jaguars did waive Austin Trammell earlier today. It's interesting with Patrick, the Jaguars gave up a 6th-round selection, and it's the brutal side of the business, right? Because Trammell made the 53-man roster yesterday, only to be released literally hours later. Hopefully they can get him back on the practice squad. Speaking of the practice squad, we know a majority of the Jaguar practice squad now. You heard from General Manager James Gladstone earlier today, and I'll actually be back down at the Miller Electric Center tomorrow. Jaguar Media is available to watch practice tomorrow. I will have a Jaguar one-on-one with one of the 53 on the roster tomorrow after practice. You will hear that conversation tomorrow night here on Hacker After Dark. But now that the roster is pretty much intact, now that the practice squad has been kind of squared away, now all eyes begin pointing towards Carolina. We are 11 days away from the season opener. Carolina comes in here a week from Sunday in what is, for week 1, a very important game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We know what's after Carolina, right? A trip to Cincinnati, home against Houston, and then back-to-back games at San Francisco and Kansas City on Monday night. So it's a hard start to the year. There's no doubt about that. The easiest of the first 5 on paper is that opener against Carolina, which is a very, very big game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, that will just about do it, man. We have had a very, very busy Wednesday night here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM, and we have a ton of people to thank. Again, Ben Raven, MLive.com, also host of the Dungeon of Doom podcast, for giving us the information on newest Jaguar wide receiver Tim Patrick. A couple of radio play-by-play guys. Always enjoy catching up with Jeff Colhane, the play-by-play voice of the Florida State Seminoles. As we discuss the Seminoles season, they get ready for Alabama on Saturday at 3:30. So thank you to my friend Jeff Colhane, the voice of Florida State. Likewise, Sean Kelly, the radio play-by-play voice of the Florida Gators. Of course, you'll hear Sean all season long with Gator broadcasts right here on 1010XL. Always appreciate catching up with Sean to preview Florida football. And again, their season opener Saturday night, 7 o'clock against Long Island University. And you will hear the pregame coverage beginning Saturday right here at 4 o'clock on 1010XL. And also my buddy Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4, talking Jaguar roster, talking a little Friday Night Lights as well. So we certainly thank Jamal St. Cyr for taking time out for us this evening. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again here on Hacker After Dark beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening. And